Blessings, everyone. Welcome to Pine Grove News Live on the East Coast. 6:03 p.m. here. Coming from southern New England, in Connecticut, northern Connecticut. I hope everyone's doing okay. Let me go check. We should be live on YouTube, and we are. Okay. Make sure that is working. Yeah, we're on a couple platforms here. It's being recorded just in case, YouTube decides to shut us down, or shut me down, whatever you want to call it. And we are being recorded for Mixler for the show reels, in case anybody wants to go back there. So, it's really, we haven't had spring here in a long time, probably in at least 5-6 years. It usually just is rainy and cool, and then it just gets hot. And that doesn't happen until mid-June. So, with that, we're expecting to be in the high 60s, low 70s tomorrow. And it'll be the first night I go in, first day anyway. I don't know if my wife, she's planning on going to get the motorcycle out and go for a little spin. The new one she bought last year. Yeah. She got her license, but she won't drive. I've asked her, go ahead, drive, take it. No, she won't do it though. She likes going on a motorcycle. So do I. Very peaceful. You're out in the open, warm day, cool breeze. Of course, an occasional bug flies in your forehead, or good thing you have goggles or something on, because, they fly into that too. Yeah. Oh, well. I'll take that any day as long as I can keep riding. So with that, couple... Excuse me, I just remembered to turn my head when I'm got a cough. Anyway, 47 years of smoking, you'll tend to get a little cough. And it hadn't really started until this year. So it's time to quit. Yeah, I am sinning against the temple, the body, and don't like it at all. But anyway, that's my battle. There's some weird news out there. This one, we're all talking about AI and stuff that goes on with that, and how strange and very scary that this could turn into. Even Elon Musk, CEO of SpaceX, and who knows what else. We got an article. AI robots. I don't know. AI robots and babies. So try to figure out what the title of that one would be. AI and babies. Yeah. And so let's just get into the news. I don't have a soapbox to get up onto at the moment, so let's just get right into the news. It's a little sporadic. But anyway, this one is from Now the End Begins. Clinton body count. Okay, we all know about the Clinton body count. Last time I checked, there was over 80. Yeah, 80 bodies that were somehow, some way connected to the Clintons. Whether they be ex-girlfriends, boyfriends, affiliates, staff workers. Here's another one. A former Clinton and Obama advisor, Alan Krueger, found dead of an apparent suicide ahead of a new book release in June. Yeah. Of course, we've all heard about, all the dead scientists and the dead bankers, right? The so-called suicides and mysterious circumstances there. You can go read that over at stevequayle.com. He has that list for you. Pretty interesting list. And they got a list also for this body count from the Clintons as well, somewhere. I do not know where that is at the moment. Might have it in an article somewhere. But anyway, Princeton police reported that they were caught or called to the professor's home on Saturday, where they found him unresponsive. The New York Times reported. So, one of the interesting things about the suicide is that Krueger has a book, excuse me, set to hit the shelves in June 2019, and seemed to have everything to live for. But I could tell you two people not stunned by this news: Bill and Hillary Clinton. Yeah, and I'm not afraid to put out news that's out there. I mean, none of this is original. I did not go. I'm not an investigative reporter. If I had the money, I probably would. Skipping around state to state and getting real facts and real video. I would do it. I would do it in an instant. I would love to do it. Just that at this time, the Lord is not supplied me with enough money to go do stuff like that. Because you do need money. Yeah, plane tickets, bus tickets, gas money. But anyway. Professor Alan Krueger, a man who had a new book coming out in June. I don't know why we're going to hash over that. I'll leave the links to everything in here, mostly everything. If I have 5 headlines that's, from one place, like this one, Now the End Begins, or End Time Headlines, I'll just give you the one link. It's all on their, site. So you will see it all. So there we go. So another one mysteriously commits suicide. Anyways, yeah. A new book coming out. Like I said, everything to live for. Who wouldn't want to wait to have his new book released and see how it does and so on and so forth? I mean, come on, people, really? Apparently these idiots, they're just getting dumber and dumber, de-evolving, because if you think that we're going to fall for that one, it's not happening. Let's go over to World Israel News. And of course, threats from Iran. Iran threatens Israel and U.S. over the Golan recognition. And actually, that is a big problem now. Knew it would be. The Arab immigrants, they're all upset over all this. And I guess there's another article out there somewhere. I don't think I picked it up, where there's an actual map. Yeah, they put out a map, updated a map, giving the Golan Heights to Israel. I mean, it's theirs anyway. So there's a lot of other places that should be Israel's, according to the Bible that the Lord gave them. And anyways, yeah, no, they're not happy over there. Figure, right? So we got to, pay attention to this Iran. I mean, we are letting them, not much we can do, test missiles. And they are, that's why Israel is out there, trying to stop Iran, because they're in Syria, close to the border, and working with Hamas, the Brotherhood, stopping, convoys that have this stuff in it. Who knows what stuff? I mean, I don't know what stuff, but yeah, Israel's going to blow it up. Because Iran, that's their biggest thing. I mean, they want to wipe Israel off the map. Yeah, so they're fighting for their lives, for their very survival. And I can't blame them, but in any case, very interesting and very dangerous, the things that are going on there. A lot of things all around the world. I mean, the Spratly Islands and China and us. Now they're putting personnel on these islands. along with their militarized runways, airports, missiles, missile sites, SAM sites. Yeah. In international waters. Now go figure that one out. How did we let, of course, Obama was president at the time for 8 years and just let them do it? You know, in international waters, that's everybody's property or nobody's property. But Iran took it upon himself, and we've talked about this many, many times, to go build themselves a few islands on the Spratly Islands. You know, build it up. They forget what they call it, dredging or something like that. Yeah, and now they have a military presence there. China says they're doing it to protect their, their shipping lanes. I don't know why they need to protect those shipping lanes to the point where they're going to build it in international waters. But, you know, they let them do it. They let them do it, so we got to think about why they let them do it. Why there was no response from the UN or anyone. Oh, interesting, huh? And you know what's also interesting about all this? This was one of the last articles. Okay, it's actually a video. It's a 24-minute video. This guy, his name is Adam. He's calls himself Marfoogle, and he's quite successful in doing what he does. He has a couple sites. This one is Marfoogle News. He has a show over in the West Coast. And I don't even know what time that it starts. I always get it when it's out there on YouTube because I'm on the East Coast and he does it late, so I have to catch the video. And anyways, this 24 minutes was part of his show the prior night, and he put it out there on Marfoogle News. But in any case, there's a couple things that he talks about in here, and it's very interesting. This thing right here, Russia aircraft to fly over the U.S. as part of a treaty on open skies obligations. Yeah, I was talking to World Watchman over there in Northern California and West Coast, and he said he heard about it too. He said it's something like open. Well, they call it open skies here, but it was called something else. But yeah, Russian planes were allowed to fly over U.S. airspace, and U.S. were able to fly over Russian airspace. I don't know if either one of them actually happened, but that's what they said happened. Very strange. I mean, if we're so at odds with Russia and China and all these other things, why do they continue to do all these things? Why do we, get the majority of our throwaway items from China? Why do we really don't export anything anymore except, I guess, oil? Yeah, and now we're trying to take over Venezuela. That's crazy stuff. So, that was pretty darn interesting. That's basically one of the things that I remembered from watching the show. Let's see. What was the other thing I just had up there? Anyways, it's worth the 24 minutes. Normally his show is at least 2 hours. And some good information. It's a call-in show. He does the news for like the first, like right here, 24 minutes. And then he goes into, has callers call in and, ask questions. So it's all right show. I don't agree with a lot of the stuff that he agrees with, and he agrees that nobody's going to be agreeing with him 100% of the time, like anything else. So I just found that very interesting that we were allowing all this secrecy and, so-called, enemies, we would allow them to fly over our darn country. I won't even get into what happened to I think it was the Columbia. Was it the Columbia that supposedly broke up in the atmosphere on re-entry? Supposedly. I mean, I kind of know the true story, but that's what everyone was, led to believe, that it broke up in entry. The one that I guess was plastered all over Texas or something. Yeah, I remember that. It was the only one that broke up on re-entry. Not talking about the one that blew up while it was hidden into the atmosphere. In any case, let's move on. What else we got here? Okay, so yeah, this is from the week. Anti-abortion film denied commercial airtime on every network but Fox News. Well, before you get ahead of yourself, don't Fox News. Even though there are a couple, talking heads that I kind of like listening to. I mean, but it's still scripted. It's still bought. They're still bought out. So anyways, Lifetime, Hallmark Channel, HGTV, and several other cable networks are refusing to air a commercial for the anti-abortion film Unplanned, writes Hollywood Reporter. Fox News is the only mainstream network to allow the airtime. Yeah, I didn't even know that there was a movie out there, Unplanned, and now I'm going to go look for it and watch it. Glad that they put that out there. Called Unplanned. Okay, I'm just writing a note here. Okay, so yeah, go figure, right? Evil is good and good is evil. I mean, that's basically what's going on here. These this law in New York that passed, and of course they're not the only state to pass that law about the abortion at time. I mean, basically can just kill a baby as soon as it's born. Yeah, it's very, very touchy subject with me. And I just have to say that I'm totally shocked. I had to do something else, and the only thing I could do was I put a petition out there to the White House on whitehouse.gov, and I created a petition there to basically, it says to defund Planned Parenthood for the reason of abortion or any abortion whatsoever in any stage of the gestation period, I guess. And of course, I don't know a lot of people. I know enough. I've thought to, especially women. There's a lot of women that I talk to in chat rooms, and I figured that it would. And I've talked to a couple of them, and they're pretty, beat up about this whole thing as well. But this petition did not go very far. Nobody's signing it. 11 people signed it. Need 100,000 in order for them to look at it, but maybe Trump already threatened to defund Planned Parenthood anyway. But in any case, I mean, I'm just shocked that only 11 people signed it. I mean, I don't know. I know that there are Christians out there who claim to be Christians that are using this entity, maybe because they don't have money. I know a lot of people who don't, and they offer some good services that are funded by the government. And but I don't think that's any reason to let an entity go on killing babies because it's free. I'm just totally shocked. I'm shocked about the response. I'm not shocked about what's going on in this world because we expect that. These are the times that we're in, and everything is just dark. And I hope that the brothers and sisters have not fallen back to sleep. It seems like it. It seems like it. I mean, there is no real communication amongst the brothers and sisters. We try. But a lot of things have taken a couple steps back. So this is from Charisma. What Rick Joyner's 1987 prophecy reveals about America's future. I'm just going to read 3 paragraphs. And I'll leave the link to you. Over the last 30 years, plus years, I've been, this is him right now, Rick, speaking. I've been given dreams that I now understand relate to the reason for the Second American Revolutionary Civil War. Yeah, the second one, that's what I said, the Second American Revolution. I did not see them as such when I received them, but since my dream on December 14, 2018, they have all come into remarkable focus. I will share these in the study where they fit to help me or us relate to what is now unfolding. In 1987, I was shown a prophetic experience that what we had been turning to the left as a nation for a long time. I was also shown a coming sharp turn to the left. I was not shown whether this was good or bad, just that it would happen. I was then shown a reaction to this and a turn back to the right. I saw that we would never again make a sharp turn to the left. But there was a danger that we would go too far to the right. I wrote about this in my book. He's got a new book, The Harvest. That is also when I was told that an eagle needs both a right wing and a left wing to fly. When the weight shifted to the extreme on the other wing, it would crash. So the warning was that extreme turns to the right or to the left could bring us down. A few years after this, I thought that extreme turn to the left was with the Clinton administration. Then I was sure it had to be the Obama administration that turned the country much further to the left than Clinton. The Trump administration seems to be the beginning of turning back to the right. Now we have the rise of the new socialists that seem even further to the left. But at this point, they do not have the influence to turn the country. What they can do is cause a reaction to tempt us to go even further to the right than we should. The extremes on both the right and the left are enemies of what we are called to be. So will the right or the left lead us to our destiny, our promised land? Neither will. Something much higher than either of these things coming. With the increasingly extreme political clamor, it is going to take a new generation of transcendent leadership to both see and steer us towards our destiny and our purpose. And so, I mean, it goes on. I think it's a very interesting story about us turning different ways. How we're all going to come on this, because we all, there's a lot of us who spoke together and we talked about, we actually prayed for Trump, that he, the Lord will pick whoever he wants to get in there anyway. And now that Trump is in there, things seem to be, heading back, as Mr. Trump said, going to make America strong again, great again. But what does that mean, everyone? What does that mean? Who were we when we were great? Aren't we the big meddlers? I mean, I grew up, we were told lies. It was a different thing, just like today, the mainstream media. It's all scripted. And it was back then too. And so we followed the narrative. We grew up thinking something, things that were going on were really going on. And when you finally get called and you're awoken, and your eyes see and your ears hear these things, and you know the lies that were told while you're being programmed, and the extent of them, you know, this country is not who I thought it was, and it's not who I grew up in. It's evil. Very powerful, evil entity. And right now we're going after Venezuela. Why? I think that there was actually that socialist regime that might have actually been working down there. If you ever heard of Florida Mockery, okay, go to YouTube, go to Florida Mockery. For the most part, he puts out a lot of data on things from the South. I mean, he talks about Antarctica, but he has talked about this Venezuela thing, and he appears to know certain, things that go on down there. A heck of a lot more than me. I never paid attention to South America. Yeah. But things are not what the mainstream and Trump and Pence and all them tell you it is. Go search for yourself. I mean, that socialist system was actually working. That oil, I forget his name, the president now, not the one the United States thinks is the president or the rightful president, but the one that actually was elected. He actually, with this oil, he promised to give it back to his people, and he did. That was the only way socialists can work, a socialist system. But no, it was tainted. It was, he did not want to get involved in big oil, and because of that, he was attacked for it. His country was sanctioned. The socialist system that was put in there with these prices and stores and other places were regulated, and everyone was fine. The storekeepers were making profits, and the people were able to afford food and those items that they wanted to buy. And it was great. They reaped the benefits. And then the United States got involved, imposed sanctions because he didn't go the big oil way. And I don't know the exact details of what that is. All I know is that he refused to do it, and you're not supposed to do that. And so those sanctions alone caused the storekeepers and the prices and the vendors that brought in these items for the people were now fluctuating and rising because there was no control. He didn't have control over it. So that became a big problem. A lot of things couldn't be restocked, and prices kept going higher because we sanctioned them. Now, I don't understand, while everyone else is sanctioned, this is one thing I don't understand. While every other country, all these other countries that do the slightest little thing can get sanctioned, and the U.S. don't. Why doesn't the U.S. ever get sanctioned? I was thinking something, talking with somebody about something today that the U.S. was involved in. It had something to do with some kind of human rights violations. And we, the government anyway, could have many sanctions put against them for human rights violations. But they say they go after China and all their human violations, bringing, child labor in camps over there. But China is definitely, got a problem. But why does the United States never get sanctioned? Anyways, some things that you should be asking. And anyways, and so now, the United States, usually it's Soros who sets up these companies, these vendors, infiltrates, gets other people in there to totally make a mess of everything so that the United States can come in and rescue the people supposedly who are starving. But I've seen video out there of these starving Venezuelans, and they look, just about as big as Americans do. Yeah, they do. Yeah, there may be some items that they can't get. I mean, there was for a while there was some things, hospital items, basic needs like toilet paper, they couldn't buy anymore because of these sanctions. And so these people went across the border into Colombia and bought these things. They had to go across the border. And there's a big story in that too, of why all these items are now across the border. And all these Venezuelans with Venezuelan money went across the border and bought these items. And so now the Venezuelan money is no longer in Venezuela. It is now in Colombia and in other places. So now you got a problem with the money flow. And so I can keep going on, but Florida Mockery explains it very well. Unfortunately, I think sometimes he may, have a dream of some kind of social utopia like AOC, but I hope, because he was in the military. That's what he claimed anyway. Yeah. So let me bring you to one I got on AOC and this Green New Deal and all these. This is high impact. Why I can't move it. This is HighImpactFlix. Used to be subscribed to them before, kind of got away from it now. I'd like for you to listen to some of this. And what this socialist democratic demon rats want now. They want socialism in this country, and that's what they're hell bent on doing. Why, I don't know. I mean, AOC, claims a lot of things, but she is not going to be, equal. What do you call it? What do the socialists claim? I mean, take from the rich and give to the poor. Everyone's supposed to be equal. Somehow that's going to work out. Yeah, and all the other things she wants to do. She don't know how it's going to be done yet. Technology that hasn't even been invented yet. She wants us to find and implement within 12 years, or else we're all going to die. And in the meantime, she's calling out, why places like Flint, Michigan, get poisoned water for their people. The lead that they found in there, and all these kids that are getting brain damage and all this other stuff. And she's fighting for these kids, but what she's doing is she's asking for more government control, and government in Flint is what the problem in the first place. And so this is what the high impact, this guy here, I forget his name, but I'm going to play a little bit. I'm going to go to a minute and a half and let it play for a couple minutes.
An elitist issue. This is a quality of life issue.
Remember, necessity is the plea for every infringement of human freedoms. It's the argument of tyrants, and it is the creed of slaves. And necessity is exactly what Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is trying to champion the cause of here.
You want to tell people that their concern and their desire for clean air, air and clean water is elitist? Tell that to the kids in the South Bronx, which are suffering from the highest rates of childhood asthma in the country. Tell that to the families in Flint, whose kids have their blood is ascending in lead levels. Their brains are damaged for the rest of their lives. Call them elitist.
She's trying to set herself up as going against the big oil conglomerates on behalf of the little guy. And don't get me wrong, clean running water is a blessing, and I think everybody should have access to it, including the people in Flint, Michigan. But the reason Flint, Michigan has bad water, has high levels of lead in their water, the reason people's kids' hair is falling out, and the reason there's these skin rashes and all this crap going on in this filthy water that they're drinking and bathing in, the reason that's a reality is because of local, state, and federal governments.
For almost 2 years, complaints from the city of 100,000 residents went unanswered, but independent test results were beginning to provide a chilling answer: high levels of lead in the water.
So lead is an irreversible neurotoxin. Once it is in your body, the damage is done.
Don't forget, Back when Obama was president, he released $80 million worth of federal funding and gave it over to Flint, Michigan. And to this day, Flint has horrible, horrible water.
And you know what happened in Flint? I mean, they were given this money. They were given water, bottled water, to be handed out to the residents. And you know that government, that municipality, whatever you want, if we can call it, local state government, they held on to that water, drank it themselves for like 3 months before anything was handed out to the residents. And in the meantime, the lead levels in the blood piling up, people getting sicker and sicker, while these government employees, workers, drank from the bottled water. That's what happened there. Just
dying. They are dying.
I'm really glad you brought that up, Alexandria. Matter of fact, the #1 cause of death in the last century alone was people dying at the hands of the government they trusted. Over 250 million people dead at the hands of government. And you just became part of the world's most powerful government.
And the response across the other side of the aisle is to introduce an amendment 5 minutes before a hearing and a markup. This is serious. This should not be a partisan issue. This is about our constituents and all of our lives.
But what's the remedy from Alexandria? Throw more government at it. It's gotta work sometimes. I mean, a broken clock is right twice a day, right? So if we just keep on shooting our governmental bullets at it, something's bound to get fixed, right? $80 million released from the federal government under the Obama administration, given to the Flint government so Flint, Michigan can have clean water, and they don't have clean water.
Yeah, don't even want to get me started on the Obama administration and what he tried to do. The same thing. He tried to make this country, and he did damage enough to it. He wanted to bring this country down to the third world level. Okay? He wanted to take America down. Fundamentally change America was his slogan. And he was elected twice on that. Okay? And his last act as president was to bring a plane load, at least a plane load, with pallets of money, billions of dollars, to Iran. To Iran, who wants to wipe Israel off the face of the map. Okay? You got to get rid of, if you're going to get rid of America and fundamentally change her, you have to do it with Israel too. Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to point this out. This, I don't know why it's out there now, but we have known about this already. I am signed up to it already. Let's get away from that AOC. She really irritates me. She's all about herself and her constituents. You know, they will stay in power unless you don't vote for them again. Or, anyways. And all they want is to destroy this country, make it a socialist country, even though socialism has never, ever worked. It might have worked in Venezuela. It was seeming like it was going to work, but not anymore. So anyways, this conservative answer to Facebook. There's a new website out there called USA.life. Okay, there used to be one a while back called Scene.life, and that was a total disaster. Was on there for a year, and then a lot of us were not even allowed back in there. We couldn't sign in, so I don't even know what happened to that. But USA.life. Okay, that's what they're saying is an answer to this Facebook, and I think that we should support them. USA.life. Go sign up. Take a look for yourself. I know they do ask for donations. You can get it for free. But just look into it. I mean, if you're being suppressed and blocked and kicked off Facebook, I mean, go try it out. USA.life. I think if we all stuck together and told Facebook and Google and whoever, YouTube, Microsoft, whoever you got to talk to, we're the ones that made them who they are. We, the people, are what, we are, our blood, sweat, and tears went into paying for everything that these people, these governments, these entities, these powers that be have. Why can't we just not give it to them anymore? You're so scared of them that if we get together and say, oh, well, all I know is I don't know how much more I can, there's a lot of money that I'm losing. There's a lot of money that is taken out of my check. I mean, I've, getting my paycheck and watching at least 4 to 5 categories take money out of my paycheck. And then when I go to, either buy something or, look into a loan, maybe a house, they all go by your gross. And that's certainly not what we make. Anyways, I can get into a whole big soapbox on that one, man. That Tea Party that happened a long time ago in Boston, they would have never allowed this to go this far. That tea would have went into the water and the people with it. So USA.life, go over to check that if you'd like. Give it a shot. Friend me, whatever you want to do. I'm still at Facebook mostly. I don't have time to go to a lot of these other places. I check it out every now and then. WND, world's longest salt cave found in biblical Mount Sodom. Yeah. Then the Lord rained brimstone and fire upon Sodom and Gomorrah. But Lot's wife looked back, and she became a pillar of salt. Genesis 19. Following the biblical recounting of Lot's wife, was who turned into a pillar of salt, Israel's Dead Sea region is now famous for a second salt phenomenon. The Mulham Cave, the world's longest salt cave. I find it humorous, that's all. I found it humorous that that would be the place for the longest pillar salt cave. Pillars of salt. Yeah, I was just listening to some National Geographic the other day about Sodom and Gomorrah as well, and it's kind of weird that this would come out today, day after I watched these programs. And the one about Moses, where he actually crossed. I mean, it wasn't the Red Sea. So I guess we all assume that it's the Red Sea, but it wasn't. I guess it was the Reed Sea. I guess there was a mistake in the Bible. That's what people claim. And when you go to the Reed Sea, you're talking about these salt, the Dead Sea, that salt, all the other stuff. Anyways, it was interesting. I know I'm just wasting your time with that, but here's the story I mentioned in the beginning from the shift plan. Scientists begin teaching AI robots to evolve and reproduce. Are you freaking kidding me? Seriously, man. Evolutionary robotists have decided to begin teaching artificial intelligence powered robots to evolve and reproduce. I mean, I don't know who the heck these people are who come up with this stuff. Our minds, most minds nowadays are just so de-evolved, so immoral, so dark. They can only think about pleasures, immediate pleasures that only last for moments, instead of life more abundantly. I don't understand. I guess I understand it in the sense that I know whose influence all this is from. And I also know that he can have his fun now and try and kill as many people as he can because he don't like humans. But he's already lost. It's already done for him. He knows where he's going. He has a short time, so he's He's going to make the best of it. And so we need to be strong and courageous. The Lord spoke many times to Joshua and Joshua's army, the Jews, to be strong and courageous. They had to go in and defeat 33 nations of giants. Yeah. That was tasked to Joshua to clean all that up. So, our troubles. I mean, I know we have health problems, especially now that we know that our governments are, treating us like cannon fodder and dross, just to be, muck wiped away, sheep led to the slaughter. Yeah, Satan's objective is to steal, kill, and destroy. But we can have life more abundantly, can we not? I know we can. And all you need is hope and faith. All you need to do is believe in Jesus Christ. And once you do that, He is the hope. You follow that hope. And the promises that He makes. You think your God will lie to you? Well, that's what Satan would want you to think about Him. He's going to make Himself out to be God. But you know what? He is nothing but a liar. He is the lie. He is not a God. He is an angel. Well, he's not an angel, I heard, either. He was made much better than that. But we could talk about that later. So in any case, according to futurism, this is known as high-tech Darwinism. The researchers' ultimate goal is to design artificial intelligence and robots that can analyze their own source code and mate with others by combining bits and pieces of their code with that of another robot. So, I hope you don't have in your head that these freaking things can actually, what do you call it? Besides to reproduce, the actual act. I mean, I know they're making these particular love dolls in Japan and all that stuff, and they look pretty darn real, but in all, they are still just material. It's, byproducts of things that we make or use from other sources. It does not have a soul. It cannot. And any clone or anything else that you may think that they can make does not have a soul, nor spirit. And so all these stories about, downloading memories and emotions and all this other stuff into these vile imitations of life, it's just futile. I mean, even the dream from Daniel said that the two will not cleave. They will not. They can't. Get these things out of your head, man. These things are just there to put it in your head, to confuse you, to generally create chaos. And we see an awful lot of that in the world today. Chaos. Robot army to rise to 4 million, working in 50,000 warehouses by the year 2025. It says a shocking new report from ABI Research. Yeah, this may happen. Universal income. Elon Musk and others have already talked about it. I think the figure was $1,000 a month. And I don't know, today, this day and age, at least here in America, here in Connecticut, we cannot survive on $1,000 a month. Of course, they're going to put you in these mega cities with these little huts, okay? And everything will be a George Jetson style thing. You press a button for a little cube that will, be your nutrients for that particular lunch or that day. Soylent Green. You ever hear of that? Well, I don't want to get into that right now, too, because that, these things are all possible. But it doesn't make anything less known that we are going to paradise when we're all done here, when Christ is going to come again. He's going to take us away. And a lot of us won't see a lot of this stuff. You believe in the pre-trib. You know, some of these people, I mean, I might believe in a pre-trib, but I don't believe in some of these things that are going to happen that people claim are going to happen in the middle of this pre-trib. Like the wrath of God. I mean, how can anybody withstand the wrath of God for 7 years? Or 3.5, depending on how you look at it. No, Jesus, you know, withstood it one time, and he sweat blood just thinking about it. You think man is going to be able to handle 3.5 years of God's wrath? Ooh. You know, whether you call it tribulation, which we are in now, which we have, felt all our lives, tribulation. No, we're here for a reason. We're here to be refined by the fire. We're here to learn, people. Yes, we have to live a life. Yes, we have to deal with people. We have to live with people. But if we keep being refined and go through these trials, and at the end of the trials, come on, admit it, even though we have trials that are horrendous, at the end of those trials come blessings. Yes, they do. Yep. I count myself blessed to even go through these trials. And yes, they can be horrendous. We go through them. I can tell you about mine at another time, the one I just recently went through 2 weeks ago. Talked about the one, World Watchman has been going through for the past month, probably month and a half now. He is in, and I believe he's still young in his walk, but he's learning much. He's going to get some lessons out of this. I believe he already has. But anyway, so the rest of this, yes, we have to live here through this junk, and we have to make sure that we renew our minds, okay? Everything, we're the new man, new minds, new soul. I mean, we make all these things better. Jesus does that. I don't know of anything else in my life. I will admit, nothing in my life that I've done or tried to do was, anyways, for me, it wasn't meant to be successful. I was meant to be right where I am now. Doing exactly what I'm doing now, thoughts that I have now, and my passion and I don't know what you call it, my hunger to learn more about Jesus, about his ways, how he thinks, and how he got through what he went through when he was here. The humility and the meekness, and not having a place to lay his head sometimes, out in the middle of nowhere, in the desert maybe, along the side of a street, underneath a tree, whatever. I bet you, 3/4 of us couldn't bear to do any of that. I would go test yourself. Go camping. Just try that first. Go camping. And in the meantime, yeah, we still got immigrants coming across there, no matter how much the news has died down about it. Okay, mainstream media, I don't hear about that anymore. There are thousands coming across every day. President Trump to close the southern border as the migrant invasion pushes north. They are coming across in hundreds, if not thousands, a day. I've heard of 1,000 just a little while ago, earlier today. Thousands at a time. That we're going to have over 1 million this year. Maybe was it this month or this year? I don't know what it was. But yeah, I mean, that's what he should have done a long time ago. I thought the border was closed. Close it down until you can build the wall. Where the wall isn't, have the military there. The military, I think, is already there. They're expecting something else, but I don't have the articles that say that there was one guy that came across the border and was taken down and had a particular bomb on him. Heard about the old Russian suitcase dirty bombs? Well, apparently this guy had one. I couldn't find the article, but that Marfoogle, he talks about that in that video. So that's another thing that's included in there. And if they caught one, how many others that didn't or that made it through? You think they're just going to send one and cross their fingers? No, you do like the government. You know, you buy half a dozen of them for quadruple the price and just shoot them all. Yeah. Yeah, why would you pay $200 for a pencil? No, you're buying something else. Any case, that continues to go on. And just remember that, I think, what was her name? Umar? The new Muslim Democrat is calling for all Muslims to stand up and create chaos. Chaos wasn't the word, but they want to, she's called on all Muslims to make it hard for other people, to, be disruptive. That's what she called for. And she should have been arrested right then and there for treasonous actions, for sedition against, American citizens. But is she? Do you hear anybody talking about that? Well, I am. Trump signs an executive order on protecting the U.S. from potential EMP attacks. People, why would he sign something like this? Why do you need to sign an executive order? I guess, the Democrats are trying to close everything he does down anyway. So executive order, maybe that's the reason. EMP attacks, and we've known about these things for a long time. How a nuclear bomb in the atmosphere, high up in the atmosphere, can cause an electromagnetic pulse. That's an EMP that will take out all electronics, depending on how high it is and how big the blast is. You can get one, and supposedly North Korea still has those two things that they put in orbit that are flying over our country twice a day. Two of them. Just one of them, if it had a nuclear device on it, even if it's at a low yield, set off over the middle of our country, you probably just would have the West Coast, East Coast. You would have most of the middle of the country go dark, period, out. And then, of course, everyone's talking about the sun and its solar minimum and the fact that there's more eruptive CMEs that are happening, flares that are going on. I don't know why they're ramping this thing up about an EMP, but I would go and protect yourself. I would go find out about something called a Faraday cage. Faraday cage. And you can make some of these things cheap by buying a thick, aluminum foil, maybe some aluminum tape. Now, I've covered most of my electronics that I would like to save, cover them with cardboard, seal them up with metal tape and tin foil. And I think the next thing is to worry about a ground or something. But if you got them all sealed up like that, I would almost guarantee that thing would come out okay. I've got radios, I've got shortwaves, I've got computers, I got a few things that are wrapped up right now. Some things that are in the open that better get wrapped up soon. Now there's more talk about this. So these things, it's basically an executive order directing the federal agencies to identify the threats, and there's plenty of them. There's two of them I just talked about, North Korea and the sun. They're also talking about China. And here's China. There's an article here about China and how they can, with all these cargo vessels, those little things that get put on trucks and semis and get driven across the containers. I'm trying to find that container article. It just shows. Yeah, come on, I'm not going to find it now. Well, these containers, and I've seen them out there before, okay? You could put missiles, a missile battery inside these containers, and you could basically put them on a semi and just run around the roads in the country. And it's hard to, pick these things up because they can you get their GPS coordinates one time. And then next thing you know, they're moving because they're mobile. Anyways, I can't find that article. I thought I had definitely picked it up. What's this one about? Oh, no, that's not it. Anyway. Yeah, we have to think about these things. You know how easily, because Russia has done this. China has done this. North Korea has. No, they couldn't get their submarines working right. I remember a couple of years back, there was many occasions that Russian submarines popped up out of the along the coast. A couple of them in the Gulf of Mexico. Other ones from China were over there on the west coast, popping up and showing themselves. One apparently actually shot off a missile, and that's still up for debate. That was last year, I believe. Oh, here it is, right at the very end, from Zero Edge. China testing long-range cruise missile fired from concealed ship container. Okay, there you go, big people. There's the container. Pops up. These are the missile tubes. Okay, and you can put them on the back of a, like I said, semi and a trailer and park them anywhere. We've seen other people report that these containers are in Walmart parking lots. The ones that are under construction because, I don't know, changing pipes. The pipes are leaking or something like that. And so they close them down for 6 months, laid everyone off, put up fence everywhere around, barbed wire, and that Constantine wire, which is that razor wire on the top, with these containers in there. Now, it's just speculative because nobody's actually gotten in there to open it up. But anyways, could the next great Chinese advanced missile threat come disguised in an innocuous-looking ship and transport vessel? A new report in the Washington Free Beacon suggests so, as it details China's new long-range cruise missile, which can be launched directly from a shipping container device. So, in our shipping lanes, you have these Chinese vessels, these container ships, one that crashed into the Fitzgerald that Florida Marquis talks about. I don't know if that's a way to attack our military vessels without actually using any firepower. These shipping containers. Go look up a video somewhere. I've done it. I've looked up these shipping containers and how big they are. They're just huge. And anyways, apparently this Fitzgerald was attacked, was just hit head on right in the midsection of this, I don't know what the ship was, a cruiser ship or any case. But these containers alone, sitting on top of these container ships, who knows? You could probably have the whole top level filled with these things. Next thing you know, they're opening them up, and it looks like 4 each, at least on this end, 4 in each container, missiles. Let's go count how many missiles that they can put on top of these things. What the heck happened here? Whoa. Yeah, okay. Yeah, they must be hearing me. So alarmingly, it's already being flight tested, according to analysis cited in the report, which further finds the technology could turn Beijing's large fleet of freighters into potential warships and commercial ports into future missile bases. Remember, we gave China one of our biggest deep water ports over there in Southern California. You know, where those containers from Costco come all the time. Yeah. Go check it out. Go check out, what's his name? I forget his name. He has a pretty decent show. Oh, but I don't watch it. No, it's too long. Like a lot of these shows, I'm too busy right now. And, you know, unless I can take it with me to work in my device and listen to it, it doesn't get listened to. So, and I don't know why this is happening. I'm not doing anything, so we'll just get out of there. Yeah, okay, let's just go into the last couple articles here. 70-year-old woman punched while praying at church. That's from the End Time headlines. It looks like he's so anyways, that's just, you know, this is the time. You know, people with unnatural affection, idolaters. I mean, the list can go on, right? All the bad things. This is the time that we're living in. A 70-year-old parishioner was punched while praying inside an Upper East Side church. Okay, it happened around 9:40 a.m. Tuesday at St. Monica's Church on East 97th Street, CBS, New York. Oh, yes, and I have to, it should have been put out in the beginning, but didn't get to it. And, what if it'll do it now? I got to put out, I guess, my copyright notice. This is just basically a teaching. It is news. I am not infringing on anybody's copyrights. Yeah. Yeah, they've slowed everything down for me right now. Yeah. Can't even load a picture up on my computer. So must have had a couple keywords pop up. AI purposely slowing me down. So there it is. Okay, get out of there and get to these last two quick reports. Twitter considering labeling Trump tweets that violate rules. Yeah, I wouldn't be the one that is going to tell the president that he can't tweet. Yeah, I don't care, you know, who you are. You know, if you're going to go out there and blatantly stop tweeting, yeah, because they're just, a lot of these things are bought off, man. It's democratically biased, whatever you call that. Beef products, also from the internet headlines, recalled over potential E. coli contamination. 4,800 pounds. And we just heard the other day that it was that hickory smoked kielbasa sausage, pre-cooked, and also the avocados. We got from Fox News 4,800 pounds of beef products that are being recalled because of E. coli contamination, possible E. coli contamination. The beef, heel, and chuck tender products from the Aurora Packing Company, Inc. in North Aurora, Illinois, were made and packaged on February 27th and shipped for institutional use in Illinois, Iowa. So what does that mean? Went to the prisons? Make them all sick? Wisconsin, Illinois, according to the recall notice. The products have been contaminated by E. coli 0157H7A, possibly deadly bacterium. Exposure to E. coli can result in dehydration, bloody diarrhea, and abdominal cramps for 2 to 8 days. In some cases, the bacterium can also cause hemorrhagic uremic syndrome, a kind of kidney failure. HUS is most common among older adults and children younger than 5 years old. And before my dog starts barking. Before It's News put this out last night. Report that Ginsburg is dead. South Carolina audio edited and demand proof of life now. And supposedly, yeah, in this article, this video right here in this article, this guy says that he saw a hearse leaving their property. Funeral hearse leaves Ginsburg estate. Now, I still haven't said whether she's actually dead or not, but there's people saying she's dead. I don't know, so proof of all that, I'm sure it's out. It's got to be out today. So I got no updates. This is the only one thing I got about it. So, yeah, we already know about the Democrats trying to deconstruct the Constitution. And sicker and sicker. 2 more sailors fall ill on the U.S. Navy ship quarantined at sea. USS Fort McHenry. 2 more sailors have come down with the viral parotitis, an infection with symptoms similar to mumps, bringing the total number of sailors infected to 27. So, the U.S. ship has been quarantined at sea for months now, as doctors work to control and understand the outbreak. Yeah, we've talked about that before. So this is another update. First case of the infection was spotted December 22nd, not long after the ship left Mayport Naval Station in Florida for its deployment in the Persian Gulf. There we go. But, what just happened? Everything disappeared. What the heck? So, okay, we got the AOC video that I'll leave for you there. This one I didn't get around to talking about. It's not that important. And this Marfoogle one, go over there and listen to that if you want. Better to listen to the 24 minutes than the 2 hours, because sometimes that's hard to take with people calling in. So with that, we will talk somewhere along the line, some other time, maybe when it's, I don't know, trying to think of the format that I want to do. Keep this format or go to, just a couple stories a night, maybe just one, and just, going deeper into those things. Because you can get pretty deep into this Democrats' deconstruction of the Constitution. Because first of all, I don't think we're under the Constitution right now. We're under something else. Put in place in 1933. Part of the Wars Power Act, but that just gives the president, to do things. So we're under something else, kind of like, I don't know. I don't know what it's like. I mean, I know what it's like. I'm just having a hard time explaining for you. We're not under it. We have to change it. It was also revised, I believe, in early 70s or 80s. So we all should maybe just want to Google that. Check on, the Wars Power Act, and I'll look into it more for you, so we can talk about that maybe on a weekend. Not this coming weekend. I don't want to talk about any politics on the weekend. Well, this weekend. First of all, I got taxes to finish. I finally got some things done, some questions answered, and I can go on with that and get it over with. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm going to pay for somebody else to do it if I can afford it. I mean, that's how I started doing taxes myself, is because I couldn't afford to pay somebody to do it. So now that I'm working, I'm not gonna do it anymore. It's just it is the number one on my list of most irritable things in this life to do. So with that, everyone, it's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Got 2 days off. Try and get out there and play some things for you over the weekend. Besides, or while I'm doing my taxes, and then to be done with that. And I'll be free from that. Thank you, Lord. So, everyone who is celebrating their Sabbath, God bless and peace with that. And those who don't, whatever day you celebrate that Sabbath, peace with that. You know, make sure that you keep in contact with your family, even now, so more important than ever before. Know where they are. You know, have a phone number, have an address, where are they? You know, and it's very important to, with the family ties anyway, period. There's just too many families that are broken up now. Because this place is so dark and people just often in directions and they can't see. So we need to be a light for them. We need to direct them back on the path or even get started. We need to know that there is hope, and following man and relying on man, there is no hope. Following Jesus Christ, that is where the hope is. That's why he came here 2,000 years ago. He came here for the Jews to kind of convince them that now is the time, here I am, and they denied him. And I want to say thank you for the Jews, because if it wasn't for them, I mean, I don't know. We wouldn't be living in this time of grace and have the Gentiles be able to be saved as well. I am very joyful for that. Stiff-necked people. That's what he called them. Okay. All right, everyone. God bless and peace out.